Hey guys, that Welsh Nerd here, and today we're going to be looking at the new Mortarch for the Nighthaunt Legions, Lady Olynder herself, also known as the Veiled Queen or the Veiled Mistress. So, as you can see, it's a nice floaty haunty model, similar to the other Nighthaunts. Just from looking at this, you can really see how they use empty space really well, and it's just got an ethereal, weightless look to it. So on the back of the box, yes, Veiled Queen of the Nighthaunts. She is equipped with a Staff of Midnight, and that is all the details, as well as a list of paints you'd use. So without wasting any time, let's have a look straight inside. So there is surprisingly few sprues. I'm a little bit surprised at that, just because this is, you know, your main leader for the army. A nice rulebook, nice big base, and then 2 sprues. So let's jump straight into the sprues. So we've got her handmaidens here, as well as some roses for basing. A cool cowl. I'm not sure if this is really going to come up on the video, but she has got an indent of like a skull in there, which is really cool. So a headpiece, and all in all, these look really nice. There's not a lot of detail sculpted onto them. Again, that's more just to pick out the Hexray flame, I think, or whatever technical. And then these are going to be the bits of the banshee, well, the handmaidens. Again, crisp. There's not a lot of texture and details. This is a surprisingly simple looking kit. I was expecting a lot more complicated from how it looked on here, but again, that's not a bad thing. So, your standard rulebook, how the roses work, etc. going in. Yeah, it does seem like a nice, simple kit to put together. Yeah, I don't really know what I can say about this, to be honest. It's there. Okay, so the rules, let's have a quick look at this. Okay, so, Lady Olynder. She has a movement value of 6, 7 wounds, a 4+ save, and a bravery of 10, as is pretty much standard with Nighthaunt. Apart from the wound, she's got 1 increased wound over your average heroes. The same save, but it's unrendable, so that 4+ save is really good. It's a 50-50 save against everything apart from mortal wounds in the entire game. We get a little bit of description about her, and then she has 2 melee weapons. She has the Staff of Midnight, which has a range of 2 inches, and 3 attacks. It hits on a 3+, wounds on a 3+, rend of -2, and does D3 damage. And then she's got the Banshee Handmaiden's Spectral Claws, which have 6 attacks, hit on a 4+, wound 4+, and do damage 1. And these probably, on an unmodified 6, inflict mortal wounds instead. So we get a description of her there, companions, which are just her handmaidens. So she has a ton of rules and magic, as you can see. So to start with, she's ethereal, so she ignores rend values. She has the Frightful Touch special rule on the handmaidens, so on a hit roll of a 6, they just inflict a mortal wound instead of the normal damage. She has the Grave Sands of Time, which once per battle in your hero phase, you can choose to either inflict d6 mortal wounds on an enemy hero within 6 inches of this model, or heal d6 wounds that have been allocated to this model. Now, personally, I will probably keep that to heal her. You can get her down to a couple of wounds left, and then smash it and restore wounds quite reliably. You're going to be averaging out to 3 or 4 wounds restored every time you do that. Again, it's only once per battle. Unless, of course, there is that one hero you really want to offer to put a chunk into it, like a big, powerful Stormcast. Because inflicting d6 wounds on them, they're going to feel it, even if it doesn't outright kill them. Then we've got Lifting the Veil. So at the start of your hero phase, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the model that is visible to her and roll dice. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2+, the unit inflicts a number of mortal wounds equal to the dice roll. That is insane. That's a really good ability, especially considering it doesn't need a roll other than the 2+. Though knowing my luck, I will roll a 1 every single turn that I'm doing it. So the other part of that rule then is if you slay an enemy model, not unit, model, she restores D3 wounds. So she's actually surprisingly survivable with a 4+ unrendable save and the ability to restore D3 wounds quite reliably, especially if you're targeting this chaff units. She has the Mortarch of Grief, which is add 1 to the number of enemy models that flee from enemy units that fail a battle shock test. Now that's the enemy models, not 1 to the test. Again, that's huge. So say it's targeting a unit that has high wound models but with low bravery. That, say you cause them to fail the bravery by 1, that's 2 models that are disappearing from that unit. That's crazy. It's crazy good. Whale of the Damned at the start of your shooting phase, roll 2d6 for each enemy unit within 10 of this model. If this roll is higher than its bravery characteristic, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that's the Banshees just screaming like Banshees do. And then to cap it all off, Lady Olynder is also a wizard. So she knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and the Grief-Stricken spell. She can attempt to cast and dispel 2 spells a turn, which is quite nice. So the Grief-Stricken spell is casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit that is within 18 inches of the caster, visible to them. Until your next hero phase, subtract 1 from hit rolls made by that unit and add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target that unit. That is also scarily good. You target a big unit or something that's got a solid to hit roll. Not only are you neutering that unit, but you're also making it easier for your own troops to then kill it, such as with Grimcast Reapers. They will really appreciate hitting on freeze. And then finally, her command ability. You can use this command ability in your hero phase. Notice that she doesn't have to be your general for this. If you do so, you can return 1 slain model to each friendly Summoner Knight or unit that is within 12 inches of a friendly model with this command ability. So basically, she can restore 1 model to a unit. Again, this isn't like the other ones which restore D3 wounds worth of models. This literally returns 1 model. So Spirit Haunts, sorry, not Spirit Haunts, the Spirit Swarm guys, I can't think of their names. You can restore an entire model of that. Hex Raves with their multiple wounds can immediately be restored. Okay, it's only 1 model, but you are restoring 1 full model to that unit. Chain Gas, another one, they have 2 wounds each. Which, again, is a really nice command ability. All in all, she's a really solid model, I'd say. So yeah, we've looked at the rules, we've looked at the sprues, we've done an unboxing. As you all know, if you have seen my other unboxing videos, after I finish talking we'll have a brief cut and we'll come back to the finished model where I'll talk about the building process as well as have a look at what the finished model looks like. And here we have the fully built Mortarch of Grief, Lady Olynder. Now, this was a surprisingly simple model to put together actually, once the pieces started to go together anyway. Really the only difficult thing about it was this flower spiral, I think is the best way to put it, that went all the way around. You just had to make sure that they really attached to certain points going around, and the handmaidens were a little bit awkward to attach to the back of her, I think you can call it veil, just because of their own sticky out ethereal wispiness, as well as Lady Olynder's own, made it difficult to just get a grip to hold those pieces in place. But other than that, no complaints, other than she is exceptionally wobbly. It is a surprisingly firm hold. I accidentally knocked this off the table and it was fine once I'd built it. Yes, it does wobble, but it does seem stable, as oxymoronic as that sounds. That part there that's holding on is thicker than the rest of it, so she is held firmly. It's just it's on this one bit of plastic, so it's going to wobble. So here's the details of the model. I'll try to do this with as little wobble as possible. I think this is going to involve some basing attachments. For example, when the black coach comes out, it might be worth getting some of the grave pieces, just attaching them to like here, just to hold it in place. But yeah, this is a really nice model. The detail is exceptional. And she's also surprisingly large as well. I was surprised just how back this went. The handmaidens look great. This head crest she has is also really, really cool, if it'll focus on her. Just like the Reapers, she's got a really subtle skull. Sorry, the Lord Executioner. And this Staff of Midnight, I thought it was going to be an absolute bugger, but it was surprising. It's surprising how easily it came off the sprue and with as little damage. So yeah, no complaints. If you're running the Nighthorn processions, you're probably going to want her. She's a wizard. She has some awesome spells. There's a command ability that revives models. She buffs everything. She does a lot of damage. There really isn't a lot she can't do other than, well, no, not even in combat, because she is surprisingly solid in combat as well. So really, absolutely no complaints for her, and if you're running Nighthorn, you're probably going to want to pick one up. I wouldn't say she's completely worth the price. She's a smallish model, especially in comparison to some of the Stormcast heroes. But you only need one. You'll only ever need one. She's a unique character, and she takes up a fair amount of points. So there's still room in, especially in a 2,000 point list, to fill up your hero slots, still be able to take other units and troops and battle line, etc. But yeah, great model, really can't recommend enough. So anyway, this has been That Welsh Nerd. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on the Mortarch of Grief, and I will see you in the next one.